Hello students, welcome. Welcome back to Steve Vidyalakshmi Metric Higher Secondary School YouTube channel. This is class 12 physics. I am Suresh. Today we are going to start Unit 2 Current Electricity. We hope our school's YouTube channels help you to understand the concept better. You can watch the video whenever you find time and revise concepts. We hope this is going to help you to score good marks in the board examination. You can also understand the concepts better. Welcome back. This chapter deals about current electricity. Current, you know what is current and electricity? The electricity board supplies required current to our home. In our home, there are many electrical appliances: fan, tube, grinder, mixie, TV, washing machine, geyser, many more. All these need current electricity, isn't it? Without current, actually we cannot live. Okay. So this chapter is very, very important. We are going to learn about current electricity, current, drift velocity, resistors, how resistance opposes flow of electricity. What is conductivity, Wheatstone bridge, meter bridge, potentiometer, and many more concepts we are going to learn in this chapter. This is a very important and interesting chapter. And to make you very interesting and to be attentive towards this topic, we made a slide like this, that's the electrical appliances. Okay, a bulb and then iron box, multimeter, resistor, okay, battery, fuse kettle, all that. Hope you must have seen all this even in your home, isn't it? Okay, that much importance this chapter. Current, what is current? Current is flow of electrons. Current, isn't it? Current is nothing but flow of electrons. What is current? Current is nothing but flow of electrons. Okay. Current I is equal to Q by T. Current I is equal to Q by T. If you just imagine copper wire, like this, okay, in copper wire there will be electrons, free electrons will be there, the free electrons or valence electrons are the electrons which are there in the outermost orbit. Okay, the free electrons will be moving in random directions, it will be moving in already they are moving. Even when the copper wire is not connected to external battery, the free electrons will be moving in random directions. Okay, there is no resultant current, there is no current because they are moving in random directions. Current I is equal to Q by T, but when this is connected to external battery, when the copper wire is connected to external battery, you just imagine this wire is connected to external battery like this. Okay, a cell or a battery, this is battery. You must have seen this. If it is connected to external battery, there will be two polarities. One is plus, another one is minus. In a battery, there will be two polarities. One is, you just see here it is plus mentioned plus and mentioned minus. There will be two polarities. One is plus and another one is minus. Even when we charge a battery, when you charge a mobile phone or something, we use the adapter plug, isn't it? There will be two pins. One is plus, another one is minus. So in some plug points like grinder, mixie, there are three pins. Okay, a third one is for earth connection. Okay, to avoid shock, electric shock. So when the conductor is connected to external battery like this, external cell like this, the free electrons start to move in one direction. This is positive, isn't it? Therefore, the free electrons will be moving in this direction because they will move towards this positive polarity of the battery. Then we get current. Current I is now almost they are moving in the same direction, isn't it? So we get current. Current I is equal to Q by T. Current I is equal to Q by T. We can also write that current I is equal to delta Q by delta T because the quantity of charge flowing at different parts of the conductor is different. So we can write I is equal to delta Q by delta T. Instantaneous current at some time, instantaneous current equal to limit delta T tends to 0, delta Q by delta T, that is equal to dq divided by dt, A small amount of charges crossing the conductor, especially perpendicular to that. When time is almost zero, that's current. So general equation is current I is equal to Q by T. General equation is current I is equal to Q by T. General equation is current I is equal to Q by T. Current I is equal to Q by T. Unit of current is ampere. Q is charge. Unit for charge is coulomb. Time. Unit for time is second. Unit of charge. Unit for charge is coulomb. Time. Unit for time is second. Unit for current is ampere. So, we can say that if 1 coulomb of charge is flowing through a conductor in 1 second, then the current in the conductor will be 1 ampere. This is definition for 1 ampere. Define 1 ampere. If 1 coulomb of charge is flowing through a conductor in 1 second, then the current in the conductor will be 1 ampere. That is one more definition. When two parallel current carrying conductors are kept parallel to each other in air or vacuum, the force between the two charges is 2 into 10 power minus 7 Newton per unit length of the conductors, then current flowing through the conductor is 1 ampere. That is also another definition for 1 ampere that we shall discuss later. If 1 coulomb of charge is flowing through the conductor in 1 second, then current flowing through the wire will be 1 ampere. Now let us discuss what is drift velocity. When a wire is connected to the external source current, external battery, the free electrons are drifted. Imagine this is a wire, copper wire. When the wire is connected to external battery, free electrons are drifted towards positive terminal. Okay. When this is connected to external battery, before that the free electrons were moving in various directions. When it is connected to external battery, the free electrons are moving in single direction, in a particular direction, especially towards positive, this plus, minus. These are all direction of electrons. Because charge of electron is negative, isn't it? 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb, 1 electron. It is negatively charged. Therefore, they are moving towards the positive polarity of the cell or the battery. Now, they are drifted, isn't it? For that we shall derive an equation. Electric field at a point is force experienced by charge. This we discussed in first chapter, electrostatics. Electric field at a point is force experienced by charge. E is equal to F by Q. F is equal to EQ. From this. Force F is equal to EQ. F is force, E is electric field, Q is charge. Here, as we are discussing about electrons, we shall take that force F is equal to minus E into capital E. Okay, charge of electron E minus, it is negatively charged, therefore minus E. From Newton's law, we have another equation for force. There, force F is equal to mass into acceleration. When there is change in velocity, there is going to be change in acceleration. And electron also has mass, 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kilogram. Force F is equal to ma. If we are equating these two, we can write that m into a is equal to minus E into capital E. Then acceleration is equal to minus small e capital E by m. A is acceleration. E is charge of electron. Capital E is electric field there. M is mass of electron. Okay. What is acceleration? Acceleration is rate of change of velocity. Rate of change of displacement is velocity. Rate of change of velocity is acceleration. So, we can write that as acceleration is equal to velocity by time. We write that, we take this as drift velocity, because when the conductor is connected to external battery, the free electrons are drifted. Towards the positive polarity. Therefore, this velocity we take it as a drift velocity. Time, the time we take it as tau, because it's a very, very small interval of time. It's a average time between the successive collisions of the electrons. It's average time between the successive collisions of the electrons. Tau, it's very small interval of time, we take it as tau. V sub x t by tau is equal to, that is acceleration, that is minus E capital E divided by m. By rearranging, drift velocity is equal to minus E capital E divided by m into tau. Velocity is a vector quantity, isn't it? Velocity is a vector quantity. Electric field is also a vector quantity. Okay. Each charge of electron, it is natural, it's a scalar quantity. Time is a scalar quantity. Mass is also a scalar quantity. Drift velocity is also a velocity. Therefore, unit for drift velocity is meter per second. Unit for drift velocity is meter per second. Drift velocity is also a velocity. Drift velocity is the velocity with which free electrons drifted towards positive terminal when the conductor is connected to external battery or external electric field. Okay, this is drift velocity. Mobility is drift velocity per unit field. Mobility is drift velocity per unit electric field. Mobility is drift velocity per unit electric field. Mobility is a drift velocity per unit electric field. Okay. Then the modulus of this is equal to drift velocity. We get capital E, isn't it? That is capital E into tau divided by m divided by electric field is there. Then mobility will be equal to, mu will be equal to small e into tau divided by m. Mobility mu is equal to E into tau divided by m. Mobility is drift velocity per electric field. So, it is drift velocity divided by E electric field. Then E gets cancelled, then we will get small e into tau by m. Small e is charge of electron. Unit for charge of electron is coulomb. Charge for the electron is coulomb. Tau is time, second. Okay, second. M mass is kilogram, kg power minus 1. Where mu is mobility. Mobility is a drift velocity per electric field, per unit electric field, that is drift velocity. So, equation for drift velocity is minus small e capital E divided by m into tau. Small e stands for charge of electron, capital E stands for electric field, and m stands for mass of electron, and tau is the average time between successive collisions. So, this equation you have to keep it in mind that drift velocity is small e into capital by m into tau in magnitude. If you just write in scalar, you can just write the magnitude that V sub x d is equal to small e into capital E divided by m into tau. This way also you can write. This is vector form, this is just a scalar form. When you calculate only magnitude, we can write like this. Okay. Drift velocity is small g into capital E by m into tau. Drift velocity is the velocity with which free electrons get drifted towards positive terminal when the conductor is connected to field, electric field. This equation we have to keep it in mind. Then we will discuss microscopic model of current. You just keep it in mind that drift velocity equation we are going to use it here. The drift velocity equation, you please keep it in mind. Drift velocity you have to keep it in mind. Drift velocity V sub x d is equal to we have drift velocity equal to small e into capital E divided by m into tau. That equation we should keep it in mind because we are going to apply it here. Microscopic model of current. Actually, based on this, we are going to derive finally Ohm's law equation. Okay. And what we have got that this velocity, you see that this is a conductor, and it is connected to external battery. When it is connected to external battery, electrons are moving. You just see that electrons are moving along this direction. It means that the battery is connected like this side positive, this side negative. The free electrons are moving along this direction. If dx is length of the small portion, and v suffix d is the drift velocity here, and a is the cross-sectional area, this area, cross-sectional area, the number of electrons present in this unit volume, we can write that. Number of electrons present here, we can write that cross-sectional area A into dx, that is volume of a cylinder. For the volume of a cylinder, formula is pi r square h, this area pi r square, h is height. So volume of a cylinder, formula is pi r square h, volume is equal to pi r square h. In this case, this cross pi r square, we have taken it as A, cross sectional area h is height. In this case, length of the conductor, dx, therefore A into dx, this is volume. So number of free electrons present in this portion, in this volume, number of free electrons, we can write that number of free electrons is volume into number of free electrons per unit volume. Number of electrons present in this volume is this volume multiplied by small n, where small n is number of electrons per unit volume, Okay. The number of electrons in the entire wire, can be calculated just by multiplying the total volume. Then dx value we can substitute here. That is equal to dx is equal to v suffix d into dt. That is from velocity equal to displacement by time. Velocity is equal to displacement by time. Drift velocity is equal to displacement. Okay, it is nothing but the length of the wire here. That is dx divided by time, a small interval of time at which it is drifted, that is d suffix d. From this we can write dx is equal to v suffix d into dt. D suffix x is equal to v suffix d into dt. Okay, then total number of charges, total charges in the conductor, number of electrons per unit volume into total volume of the conductor. Total charges dq, total number of electrons present in the conductor, the entire conductor. Generally the conductor is in the shape of a cylinder, isn't it? So total number of electrons present in the conductor is total volume of the conductor multiplied by small n, where small n is number of electrons per unit volume. So you can write dq is equal to total volume A into, we have A into dx into n, total volume A into dx into n into small e. Value of dx can be substituted here, then we have A into dx. What is dx? Dx is v suffix d, it is v suffix d into dt, n into e. A is cross sectional area, which is nothing but pi r square in case of a cylinder. V suffix d, drift velocity. dt, small interval of time at which electrons are drifted, and n, number of electrons per unit volume, E is charge of electron, dq. We know that current I is equal to dq by dt. then we write that current I is equal to A V suffix D dt n into E divided by dt. Then dt and dt will get cancelled. Then we get current I is equal to N A E into V suffix D. Current I is equal to N A E into V suffix D. This equation is also important. We have to keep it in mind. Based on this, we will get problems. Based on the data given, we have to choose the formula to solve the problem. Current I is equal to N A E V suffix D. Current I is equal to N, number of free electrons per unit volume. A is cross sectional area, E is charge of an electron, V suffix D is drift velocity. Okay. Current density J is equal to I divided by A. Current density J is equal to I divided by A. Current is a scalar quantity, current density is a vector quantity. Current is a scalar quantity, okay, because it does not obey a law of vectors. Current density J is equal to I by A. Current crossing the wire perpendicular to that area, perpendicular to the cross section, number of charges crossing perpendicular to the area. Okay, the area is specified, the direction is specified. Then current density J is a vector quantity, it is a vector quantity. J is equal to I divided by A. So from this we can write that J is equal to N A E V suffix D divided by A, and we get J is equal to, when A gets cancelled, N into E into V suffix D, If you are substituting the value of drift velocity, we can write that current density J is equal to N into E, drift velocity is equal to small e, so that becomes E square, and capital E into tau divided by m, then J can also be written as J is equal to sigma into E, okay, where E is electric field, and sigma is conductivity, which is opposite to resistivity, Sigma is conductivity, which is equal to 1 by rho, where rho is resistivity, sigma is conductivity. Resistivity is resistance offered by a conductor for the flow of current for unit length of the conductor having unit cross sectional area, R equal to rho into L by A. Okay, resistivity is the resistance offered by a conductor for unit length having unit cross sectional area, okay, where conductivity is reciprocal to resistivity. We have velocity equal to distance by time, Vd equal to dx by dt, and total charge in the conductor is number of free electrons per unit volume multiplied by total volume, where E is electron, charge of an electron. Then I is equal to dq by dt, and we get I is equal to N A E V suffix. This is very important equation, you have to keep it in mind. Current density J is equal to I by A. Current crossing a conductor perpendicular to the cross sectional area, then J is equal to I divided by A. Then we get J is equal to N E into V suffix D. The drift velocity value can be substituted here, then we get J is equal to sigma into E, where sigma is conductivity, which is reciprocal to resistivity. Okay. Now let us discuss derive equation for Ohm's law here. We have to keep it in mind this equation. Drift velocity is small e capital E by m into tau. Small e is charge of electron, capital E is electric field, and small m is mass of electron, and J is and tau is a time. Okay, that is a mean. It's a time between the successive collisions when they are drifted. Current I is equal to N A E V sub. These two equations, let us keep it in mind. Okay. Now we are going to we shall derive equation for Ohm's law. Okay. We have in a conductor, when a conductor is connected to external battery, there will be some potential difference. When a conductor is connected to external battery, there will be some potential difference, okay. Some V, it's a battery, it's a battery. There will be some potential difference between these two ends, AB, between these two ends. That's why electrons are flowing. Just like water flows from higher level to lower level. Water from dam, water will flow downwards. Water will not flow on its own from lower level to higher level. Okay, from the tank, from the water tank, which is there in the terrace, if you just open the tap, water will come down, water will flow down on its own. Water will flow from higher potential to lower potential. Potential P is equal to mgh. So it's based on the height. So from the water tank which is there in the terrace, water will flow down on its own. But from the ground level, to push the water up, we need to use a motor. We have to do some external work. Okay. Just like when a ball is dropped, it will fall down on its own because of gravitational force. It will fall down from higher potential to lower potential on its own. A ball cannot go to higher potential from lower potential on its own. We have to give some work. We have to do some work. Okay, we have to give some force. We have to do some work so that the ball can move from lower potential to higher potential. Like this, when there is a battery is connected, there will be some potential difference. Then the electrons move from higher potential to lower potential. Okay, electrons move from lower potential to higher potential. Positive charges move from higher potential to lower potential. There is some potential difference. Okay, that can be written as, just recall this equation from chapter 1, where E is equal to minus dV by dx. Electric field at a point is negative potential gradient. E is equal to minus dV by dx. Electric field at a point is negative potential gradient. dV by dx. dV with respect to small change in the time dx, the change in potential, that is a negative potential gradient. The negative sign indicates that in the direction of electric field, dV by dx value decreases. Okay, from this we can write E is equal to V divided by L, where L is length of the conductor, V is the potential difference between these 2 points, and E is the electric field here caused due to the battery. We have E is equal to V divided by L. From this we can write V is equal to E into L. V is equal to E into L. Current density J is equal to I divided by A. Current density J is equal to I divided by A. There is another equation for current density. Current density J is equal to sigma into E. Current density J is equal to sigma into E. If you are equating these two, we will get that I divided by A is equal to sigma into E, then I divided by A into sigma is equal to E, where E is electric field. Now substitute the value of electric field in this equation. V is equal to E into L. In this equation, let us substitute value of E, that is V is equal to is I divided by A into sigma, okay, into L. Okay, this value of E we substitute I divided by A into sigma, and 1 by sigma, that's V is equal to 1 by sigma is rho. We can write that rho into L divided by A, into I, because 1 by sigma is rho. 1 by sigma is rho. Sigma is conductivity, rho is resistivity. From this we can write, that V equal to I into R. We can write V is equal to I into R, V equal to I into R, where R is resistance, R equal to rho into L divided by R is equal to rho into L divided by R is equal to rho into L divided by A. R is resistance, rho is resistivity, L is length of the conductor, and A is cross-sectional area of the conductor. So, we can write R equal to rho into L by A, V equal to I into R. This is the Ohm's law equation, V equal to I into R. Ohm's law statement is that, steady current flowing through a wire is directly proportional to potential difference between two ends of the wire when temperature remains constant. Steady current flowing through a wire, steady current or constant current, steady current flowing through a wire is directly proportional to potential difference between two ends of the wire. Between two ends of the wire, when temperature remains constant, we have to note this point that when this is applicable only when temperature remains constant, because when temperature changes, resistance changes, resistivity changes, then Ohm's law may not be applicable. So I is directly proportional to V, where R is constant, then we can write V equal to I into R. You just look at this graph, that when graph is drawn between current and potential, see that if they are linear, we can say that it's ohmic device. If it is non-linear, we can say that it is non-ohmic device. Here, by taking the slope, we can find out resistance value. This is delta V, isn't it? This is delta V, this is delta I. Applying Ohm's law, V equal to I into R, we can find out resistance of the wire. Here, this non-ohmic device, where it doesn't obey Ohm's law, because steady current is directly proportional to potential difference. Here it is not directly proportional. See, at these points, you see that voltage remains constant, whereas current increases. So this, we can say this is non-ohmic device. For example, semiconductors like germanium, silicon, they are non-ohmic device, whereas copper, aluminum, these are all ohmic device, because they obey Ohm's law. So Ohm's law statement is that steady current flowing through a wire or a conductor is directly proportional to potential difference between two ends of the wire, provided temperature remains constant. Okay. This is Ohm's law statement. Equation is V is equal to I into R. Dear children, we hope you understand the concepts. Please watch our school video regularly. If you like this video, please subscribe. Also convey your friends to watch this video. We hope these videos are useful to you. Steve Vidyalakshmi Matriculation Higher Secondary School Sarba, எல்லா சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸ்க்கும் நாங்கள் வீடியோஸ் அப்லோட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். எல்லா சப்ஜெக்ட் வீடியோஸும் பாருங்கள். Whenever you find time, you can watch these videos. We hope these videos will help you to perform better in the board examination. It will be a good revision for you. Thank you for watching our school video. Please subscribe our school video and also convey to your friends to make use of this. We expect your feedback, positive comments, and also you can give negative comments. Be honest. To improve ourselves, we expect your feedback. Thank you for watching the school video. Thank you.